Sup. So we all know that the past 8 seasons of The Flash has been pretty inconsistent and contradictory, at least to me, and I think I found a possible solution to that issue. So I think they can possibly fix this issue in about 3 steps. The first step is to move the platform in which the Flash is showed on. I just don't think cable TV does the job showing the Flash because I just don't think there's enough time to flesh out the characters and the storylines and to incorporate the villains properly. 40, 42 to 45 minutes is just not enough in my opinion, and it's a different atmosphere on cable television that I just can't explain. I don't know if it's just me, but like there are certain shows that in my opinion wouldn't work on cable television and certain cable television shows that wouldn't work in a streaming platform. So I think the first thing to do is to move the platform from cable television to a streaming service exclusively, whether it be Netflix or HBO Max, and possibly to have 1 hour plus run times with like creative freedom so that they can properly introduce characters, flesh them out, have more time for supporting characters without eating away at the main character's time so you don't have one big mess caused by yourself. And even having possibly a whole load of supporting characters, even though it's probably not recommended. The second thing I think that they should do is shorten the seasons down, nowhere near 10 or 7 seasons. Because think about it like this. Imagine the first season is showing Barry Allen still easing into superheroism, and it goes on for 10 years, 10 seasons, and by the end of that season, there's one of two things that can happen. It's either Barry is still struggling with low tier to mid tier villains, or any villain of that matter. Because after 10 years and you're not a veteran hero and you're still struggling and you still need the help of Team Flash, that to me just says that Barry is a weak character after 10 years. And I think that obviously means that the writers have to nerf the character down as you move along each season, because each season means that the character is growing stronger and stronger. So it does you no good to make the character as OP as possible by season 5 and keep on going till season 10. The other thing that could happen if they go to 10 seasons is that Barry is still not as powerful and he's still weak. So it's either he's still weak by the 10th season, which means that Barry hasn't grown at all in his power levels, and in 10 years he hasn't seen any significant improvement, or he's too OP, and the writers are nerfing him so that the villains can actually shine and have a chance to be a villain to Barry Allen. So that's why I think the season should be shortened down to at least 3 to 5 seasons max, and I think that can do the trick if done well and properly. Because I just don't see a villain, I just don't see a superhero being in the job for 7 to 10 years and not being able to take down any bad guy or not having improved to take down any bad guy. So, and the third thing I think they should do is have one or two villains the whole series due to the shortened seasons, because I just don't, again, certain villains that have been introduced in the Flash TV show could have been the villain of the whole series if it had 4 seasons, for example. Like there are certain TV shows, just any show that you can watch with certain villains that are the main villain ultimately, and the show goes on for like 5 seasons, for example. So I just don't see how like a villain can last for 1 season in a streaming service TV show that has 1 hour plus runtimes. You can do more with it. It's probably enough if you defeated the villain by the end of the first season, but I'm sure you can probably elongate it a little bit and do more with that villain. And I say 1 or 2 because what I had in mind is that, like, for example, The Flash will have 4 seasons on HBO Max with 1 hour plus runtimes, and you have Reverse Flash, ultimately the villain of the whole show. And I think this could work because initially Barry would still be adjusting to having new powers, and he's still slow and he's not as strong, and he's still a weakling compared to the Reverse Flash. and Reverse Flash will have that upper edge on this new hero, so that can propel him to get stronger and faster, and that can still keep the show going for at least 3 seasons until Barry can become some sort of match for the ultimate villain. So I say at least 1 or 2 villains if you're going for like 3 to 5 seasons long, and especially either speedster villains or villains with like energy based abilities or mental manipulation like psychics, because I just don't know of any other character that can't be defeated by the Flash. To be like a match with the Flash, you have to move as fast as him and see things the way he does too, perception and speed. And there have been many times in the show where villains that can do neither of those things have gotten away from the Flash and have even had the upper hand on someone like Barry Allen. And that's just not possible. Barry Allen can literally one shot any other character that doesn't have his speed, that cannot perceive how fast he is coming at them. So I think the only other people that stand a chance against Barry are speedsters and people with just different powers with durability or energy based abilities or psychic manipulation, and of course overpowered characters that can one shot Barry Allen. But obviously we're not going to add that into the show. And yeah, that's basically the video, I think. So to summarize, I'm pretty sure I think The Flash would have been a much better show if it had been on HBO Max with like 1 hour plus runtimes, with 1 or 2 villains ultimately for the whole series, with more than enough time to actually flesh out and introduce more supporting characters and have them be their own individuals that can connect to the audience without eating away at the main character's time, and having villains worthy of like being a threat to Barry Allen, and not just having him capable of defeating anyone at any time and you nerfing him, or not just him being too weak after so much time in the field as a superhero. So yeah, that's about it. Peace.